Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And this is Rangru. Hello, hello, hello.
We're back together. Therapy's working for us, and I could not be more excited to be with you guys to celebrate the Season 6 finals. Actually, Game 1 over here over on Siedlce. Rang, who do we have and what's he bringing?
Well, on the left-hand side in the blue, we have UUUU playing as the Romanian Cavalry Division with a Maverick income. Right-hand side in red, we have Nilla playing 11th S, also with a Maverick income. And we've got some Stuka Strafey boys already out on the field. Doesn't have any recon, so he can't shoot anything right now, but I guess that's when it was ground recon to spot the targets.
But you know what? I kind of like the fact that we still have all the Junkers on here. Wait, he's not bringing them off, is he? No, okay. They're just doing some nice little wheelies in the air. Kind of necessary, I would argue, over here. Looking over here from basically the Romanian kind of dream team fight back and forth, I feel like you need to depend on that air power, especially early on, to grab some early, well, advantages.
Yeah, and we're also seeing an early jet bomber being brought in up north to bomb the absolute bejesus out of UUU's infantry force. Yeah, they're going to be right on the edge of that forest, and well, that bomb should be pretty nasty. I think that was just blind fire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But geez. 300 meters away, and these guys are still reeling under the kind of, you know, everything of it.
Yup, and we're all seeing the Junkers do some strafing runs here, quite a lot of air power so far, you know, from the start here from Nilla. UU definitely did think about maybe getting some anti-air, because he can just pretty easily get his Junkers to bugger off just some 40 mils, or, yeah, he also has the 25mm guns available.
But that's the thing, though, is that I feel like the Romanian material, it's just kind of, well, vanilla enough that you really need to make a committed decision to go for it. And I feel like you have to, we're not talking about an SS Panzer division here where you can kind of depend on the quality of your vehicles to really kind of pull you through. Not really the case over here with UUUU.
No, it's mainly the infantry and just solely like good support stuff like the anti-tank and the anti-air and even the airplanes. Like the Romanian Cavalry Division very much focused much more on the infantry, because Romanian infantry is surprisingly like extremely good. They have some very awesome weapon loadouts.
Oh, absolutely.
We are
going to see... Ooh, wow!
Bad positioning, yeah, from the BF-109.
We'll show you who's obsolete.
Yeah.
The Pigon MG26 is over here down south, engaged with the Granatieri and the Rosorioi, which I'm butchering horribly. Apologies to our Romanian listeners out there. But like you said, these guys have a very interesting loadout. I mean, they have M38s, they have Carabinas. They're basically taking, like, Italian knockoff equipment, or I'm sure I'm saying that's completely wrong.
And some Czech stuff thrown in, too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's all over the place.
Ooh, and there's your 25 mils. The Hotchkisses are out. They're probably going to take out one of these Junkers.
Yeah, he should be able to, just how close it's flying. And also the BF-109 avenging his brother. And yeah, definitely good getting that air power out. We're seeing Nilla already getting some anti of his own, 2 big flak 88s. But so far, I mean, it's a 13-11 for Nilla. And I think that's mainly just because of his northern flag.
Yeah, and if you're looking at this too, that's what those jet bombers are going to do for you consistently.
Mm-hmm. We just see how deadly those jet bombers can be, and especially if only BF-109s, they can't really intercept jet bombers all that effectively.
No, they certainly cannot. You know, I'm looking over here, I'm trying to find really what the counterplay is, and I think just the BF-109s might be the best they can do. Ooh, we're getting a couple caps here. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect for Nilla, you know, because what fight is. And actually, as you can see, right now, that central position is starting to become more and more red here.
Yeah, he's pushing with his 2 Pumas and decent amount of infantry here. Yo, UU does have some, you know, decent anti-tank. Decent in regards of killing Pumas, not anything really heavy on yet, but fortunately there's nothing really all that heavy for the time being. It's a pretty dangerous area for Nilla to push, as you can see, UU can just have a lot of good defensive positions.
Well, and if this was anybody else, you wouldn't have to worry quite so much about having having a thin skin here. but not a lot of tanks on either side for this one. Yeah, we got some P4s and the least knockoffs that were made as well, but don't expect to see any Tigers. Don't expect any Panthers. This is a light armor fight back and forth, and like you said, it basically is a pure infantry engagement on either side.
Yeah, and especially considering that both players are pushing more in the heavy forest areas, it's really just going to come down to more of infantry and fire support. We're just seeing that, just a little bit of skirmishing in the center back and forth. I mean, Nilla pulling back his Pumas for the time being, as those sniper teams were pushing up.
It's a silly thing, but I feel like we never really see people, fall back unless they're literally forced to fall back. Yeah. So it's really bizarre to see both of these guys realize that you don't have to just kind of fight until you blow up.
Yeah, or fully commit. You can actually run away.
Exactly, just like UJ with Graham Slam. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That wasn't fair.
Why do you have to open up that wound?
Exactly.
Can we just cast the bloody match?
You know what? I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. I've been trying to work on my anger issues. Okay. Jet Bomber coming back through, almost explosive as that comment just now. And the Granatieri over here, I kind of forget that they have the sniper, sticker here, which is always a little weird for me. But hey, this is what happens when you have yourself, a 792 sniper rifle. So these guys can handle most things that are coming their direction.
Yeah, it's like the lovely thing about the Romanian infantry is you just get some odd but very good weapon loadouts. Like, yeah, a rifle squad with a sniper rifle thrown in, because why the hell not?
We might as well put it in here. This guy's not carrying anything else other than his fists. But yep, the Pumas will be more than enough to force these guys back. There is one thing that a lot of the Romanian infantry kind of suffers with, is the fact that outside of those kind of line troops, not a lot of infantry-based AT, and even those line troops generally getting just the AT grenades, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot, especially compared to Nilla, where you have a lot of Panzerfaust available mixed in with the MG-26 Panzer Grenadiers. We're seeing some rather odd Jagdpanzers being brought in. I think he might have cried somewhere from the east.
Where are we seeing the Jagdpanzers? Because apparently I'm looking the absolute
wrong direction. Su-76s.
I was gonna say, I was like...
Yeah, I know.
Jagdpanzers,
they're very confusing Jagdpanzers.
I was looking for a Hetzer, something kind of sexy, but no.
No, it's not even really a tank destroyer. I mean, I guess the Russians had used this light tank destroyer, but I always think of more of a light support artillery vehicle.
Well, yeah.
Like an SPG. It's kind of an all-in-one, really.
Dude, they didn't call it bitch for a reason. I mean, that thing did, the grunt work for, the Soviet forces. Yeah. It was, like you said, SPG, anti-tank, artillery, you name it, he did it.
Mm-hmm. Very good point.
It is weird for me to see a Flak 88 actually survive long enough to be using some of its HE, but I guess that's the nice thing about Siedlce over here, is that there's a lot of fighting over this central kind of escarpments, but there's just enough, I think, line of sight breaking up that you can't just get like, oh yes, we're just going to go and bombard you out of existence. Oh, here we go. We're going to have one light gun just kind of, make you stressed, make you uncomfortable.
I know what you mean. Siedlce is actually a pretty nice map. It has a lot of very interesting terrain. You got some hills, you got the plateau, you got some bodies of water which don't completely block the map, but does force you to navigate through a bit more of a mazy terrain. Good amount of forest and site blockers. It's honestly a pretty nice map. There's probably some minor issue where one side has a slightly better positions over the other, but compared to the other Steel Division 2 maps, it's pretty good, and it's a pretty low bar to pass.
Well, I mean, clearly it means just some intern wasn't able to successfully destroy the map.
Yeah, when you only have 4 months to make a map, you can only do so much, to be fair.
Now, I do love seeing the IAR-39A. This actually is a vehicle. This is a plane you don't see very often, because it technically is an off-map, but at the same time has bombs in it as well.
Yeah, it's an all-in-one, really. You can do the on-map bombing and then call in the off-map artillery to finish off the job. It's gonna, it does get out just in the nick of time before the Flak 88 blows him up to smithereens, but it should be a pretty powerful strike. I think Nilla's already actually backing off in preparation for it. But even then, UUU doesn't have anything to follow up with this strike, really, unless he's going to move up those R2s.
think, well, another IAR to the north, he's going to go after try to shut down this northern, demi push. It's not something huge, just kind of just a little bit of like tickling the front lines.
Yeah.
Unless, nope, the Fokker was going to vector in and probably is going to kill. He's not going to make it back out, that's for sure.
Nope. Or even drop the load, which is a bit of a shame for him. And down he goes.
He was thirsty. And with that, though, I mean, that northern position gets a little bit more tenuous now, as the SPW doesn't have a lot of immediate threats right there. I mean, the R1s are just tankettes, really.
Yeah. And
the Rosarii over here can't really get close enough to use their softball, the anti-tank weapons on there either, so...
Yeah, northern side has been pretty mostly static, because there's been a lot of skirmish back and forth at one flag, and we got another nuke run coming in.
Yep. And we're going to see down south, we're going to go right back to the south here in a second, as... skadoosh. As the entire northern Romanian army says, you know what, maybe you guys got a point. But to the south, we had a nice little push that came in. It was a number of Rosarii and then the Pioneering Cavaleries over here. Kind of pushing back P-Grand MG26. There's a Schwedenzug down there and another couple P-Grands. Unfortunately, a lot of these positions where we're seeing these kind of really nice little counterpunches just don't seem to have any strategic significance.
Yeah. I mean, that southern person, Panzerschreck is just going to get completely slacked on, yeah. Maybe UUU can do a bit of a counter push, because this southern side is definitely a little bit more open for some sort of positioning, especially if UUU was to get to the forest just right of his like battle group. That'd be such a good position to control, because that allow him to put some pressure in the center and actually knock out some supply lines up the road, yeah, like right by the crossroads.
I didn't see it till just now. We have 81mm stovepipes over here from the east. There's a couple of 60s on the left. Yeah, there's a couple 60s on the west. But 81 mils are doing what they do best and causing some havoc over here just in time for the P-Grens and Pioneers to start moving in as well.
Indeed. Now, more to play. It's definitely going to help out Nilla here, just stressing out the units in the forest, allowing him to move on through and retake out territory. He's done a pretty good job, and all of his Pumas are still alive. That's pretty rare for Pumas. They usually die by the end of A phase. And same thing really for UUU. Has a decent amount of his, light, tanks alive still, but, some of them have gone kaput.
Is it really fair to call them tanks? Because I feel like just having a couple machine guns on the top of a vehicle does not
the R-runs, yeah.
Yeah.
The R-runs are just... They're tank wannabes. But very cute tanks if you look, close in them. I don't know, I think I'm meant to be a Polish tank. I think it's a Polish tank.
Yeah, I'm looking at the weapons. The weapons definitely suggest a Polish.
Polish or, a Czech light tank. One of those two countries, if I recall. Hey, if you look all the way back in UU Spawn, Nilla's managed to get some Siedlce guys. Yeah. Okay, I think now that his managed to get to the other side, he should be able to get a King Me and upgrade him to Norwegians.
Oh! I would like to take this moment to apologize to the wonderful people of Sweden. Your women are lovely, your country is beautiful, and the Canadian has no idea what beauty looks like, so... That was cold, man. You were like, I'm gonna send them back to the fjords.
Scandinavian countries. Oh, he's speaking of cold-blooded kills. The Swedish troops are actually making a name for themselves, knocking out 2 recon vehicles. God damn, indeed.
I was actually focusing more on these MG26s, the P-Grens that have started to knife across. They're starting to get themselves into a much less, holdable position. But they are checking a lot of the Romanian advance going from west to east, right by these Hotchkisses, the 40 mils. Those guys, if they cannot get any kind of air support or artillery support, they're going to be in some trouble pretty soon.
Indeed, they will be. We had a scene like that skirmish up north here. I mean, the funny thing is that both sides are really just using those MG26 machine guns. And statistically, it look bad. But they're actually pretty good because they're one of the few machine guns which can actually shoot CQC under 100 meters. And in forest fights, that makes a pretty big deal.
And meanwhile, the Ju-87 almost decides to go for a drink and decides against it at the last second. There's also a 75 mil down here, the Recita or Recita, whatever have you. He's going to find himself, riding alone in green fields in Elysium. And drops pretty darn quickly. But that's still not enough to take that town. It is 14-10. We haven't talked about that in quite a bit of time here.
Yeah, Nilla's is getting that slow +1, but doing pretty good for himself. I mean, both sides playing Maverick, so, you know, if the game goes long, doesn't really matter for Nilla.
Saw a giant kaboom for a second. I didn't see the IG-33 getting brought on in.
Yeah.
That has a lovely bit of crossfire if he decides to use it.
Oh, it's Northern push here. He's going to be nuking the forest and then just bypassing it completely with just a cheap Panzer Grenadier push, and that should be able to get into that, like, farmstead. Yeah, 15-9, soon to be a 16-8. God damn, this is a pretty damn good push.
In the words of the Crusader Kings, it's a rout.
It's a rout. And because, like, UUU has these 122mm artillery guns, they could have been firing on the Panzer Grenadiers, but they're, you know, currently busy doing actual artillery work, so the Panzer Grenadiers just meant to get right through. Oh, he didn't unload 2 of them. All 3 go down to the Rosiori. I'm gonna pretend that's how you say it and just continue with my life.
That seems a fair idea. The Schwedenzug, by the way, so the Swedes gave their lives as they were leveling up over here to the north, which does bring in the opportunity to have the Nordland, no, excuse me, the 5th, bring in more flesh bags for the front lines. Regrettably, there's a Stug there, and yes, there is a 75mm anti-tank gun. I get it. He's still going to be awfully slow getting there in the first place, and there's going to be so many MGs and P-Grens and all of that, that it's not going to last very long. It better get with its first shot, otherwise it's going to be dead even before it gets a shot off.
Yeah, Nilla's in a very good position here, and he's bringing in a lot to supplement this Northern push, the Pioneers, the 2-3 runs for CQC. I mean, yeah, it's gonna come down to having to nuke that entire area to actually try and stabilize that position here.
And yes, there is an artillery barrage that's coming in 30 seconds. I think he's probably assuming it's a little bit closer to the front line, so nice little bluff over here from UUU to encourage him to fall back further than he should.
Yeah, I like it. Because you see, well, some of the units have fallen back already just due to suppressive fire. But the 2-3 runs don't care. They're coming in cavalry charge style. And they're making really good progress. All the Romanian infantry forced to fall back. But you got some 2-2-2s here from UUU to kill the 2-3 runs for you.
And the artillery position, the 122s are actually caught out as well. So the 2-3-1s moving on in. These guys, again, remember, they can't force surrenders, and you can see what happens when you can't force a surrender. You are going to get killed very quickly.
Yeah, artillery strike is definitely just saved UUU's ass up north. Going to be forcing everything back.
Oh my gosh, okay, go south, see the SDKF set 259s. Oh my gosh, this is such a cheeky move.
Yeah, it is very cheeky here. Nilla making good use of his light reconnaissance vehicles, knocking out some easy 60mm mortars and probably some anti-aircraft guns now. This is going to be pretty big.
Well, he also might even be able to kill the 122s. So that'd be 2 more 122s being taken out, which is a big loss if that's the case.
Yeah. I have a feeling it might not work out as well, as they do have some anti-tank capabilities, but heck, even knocking out one would not be bad.
Well, they're in the middle of a fire mission too, so that's a problem.
Yeah. Oh, he does lose one, but still, like, very good sneaky push here from Nilla. And he's already putting pressure in the center right now, just some Panzer Grenadiers pushing through. Yeah, this is really not looking good for UUU. It's a 16-8. Nilla's has been doing a great job keeping the offensive up, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's a mismatch in terms of resources here, but I do think the divisional kind of matchup between 5th and Nordland, I would give the edge to Nordland pretty consistently.
Yeah, it's also, Nilla's just been using, you know, his air power pretty efficiently here to just nuke the everlasting crap out of these Romanian infantry positions, and especially now with the lightly armored vehicles coming in, and also with not much anti-tank to worry about. Like, these autocannon vehicles are proven to be extremely valuable.
Exactly. Worse yet, unfortunately, the AB users down south aren't quite able to be efficient and get their own kind of braided cannons into play. And we're seeing, heck, even those Pumas are just continuing to cause so much havoc. There's no more HE on them, but the 50 mils are more than enough to take out pretty much anything coming the other direction.
Yeah, you never usually see a Puma live long enough to run out of ammo. It is a rare occurrence. We got a cluster bomber up north.
Takes out a
don't know where he tried to cluster. Oh, he did?
Oh, no, the Stuk is dead, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, we just seen...
I'm hearing jets.
Oh, yeah.
But Rudolph and the Jets. I don't know. Not really sure what the... Yeah, in an alternate universe, Elton John is forced to write songs for the Socialist Party. And there we go. I mean, that's kind of the consistent thing that's been happening here. Early air power dominating the battle space and really creating openings for a lot of this initial kind of light vehicle play.
Yeah. It hasn't even really been that many. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like a lot of aircraft, but he only has one jet bomber in his deck. And then, like, 2 strafing planes, and, like, 2 fighters. It's like 5 aircraft in total. And he's managed to do quite a bit of damage with them. And unfortunately, UUUU, just with his anti-air and aircraft, haven't been able to really do too much against him. And we are seeing, like, I do like his AB horse push here, trying to push on through. But he definitely needs, like, a big horde of infantry to actually lead the charge.
That does seem to be the case. Now, unfortunately for you to the 4th, really. I'm not really sure his parabola over here is really trending towards an exponential growth. It seems more like a gentle exponential decay right about now. Especially as his light vehicles get caught out by this 250 Mark 9. Oh my gosh, they're in a crossfire for this half tracks. This never happens, and this is so cool to watch. I don't know why I'm so fascinated by this.
Oh god. Yeah, flanked from both sides. That is an unfortunate position.
Well, the Rosiaris over here are running forward as if it's like some, literal World War II movie. And they might get the kill, but they're not making it out alive. That's for sure. That's the kill. Well done. Well done. Oh no, the SDKF said...
Oh. Oh, they trade!
Wow. Wow. Did not expect that one.
I didn't... Yeah, it was a small arms trade. You rarely see, usually, you see trades at long range of tank guns, which makes a bit more sense due to the travel time, but... There we go. That's a new run in the book.
So that does seem to be the case. I'm sorry, I'm watching this SK-18, this 100mm, is going after the 122s that had a brush with death before. Yep, artillery shells are landing in and around. They aren't dead yet, but I would not bank on them being around for the end of this particular match.
No.
There's one.
There we go.
And he was
SK-18s is the perfect thing for counter-battery fire.
Absolutely.
Extremely accurate at long range, and not the best high explosive, but enough to kill artillery guns.
And that's the thing, isn't it? And, I mean... Actually, I'm still... there's a Panther over here. Finally, at long last, you have a Panther coming into the fray. Okay.
Oh,
we had a Panther coming into the fray.
The KD wasn't actually up, like, different. I thought it would be much worse here for you, but only like an 800 difference. That's not bad.
Yeah, I have to admit I expected the same.
It definitely felt like Nilla had much more stuff on the battlefield towards the end, yeah, but I think also, like, a lot of the Panzer Grenadier infantry is only 20 points, which is pretty cheap, especially for Panzer Grenadiers.
We are seeing the value of the light vehicles here, and heck, there's a couple small standouts here and there. The Schwedenzug, for example, sneaking behind enemy lines and basically taking out 4 pieces. Well done there. Pigren, another 4 right there. IG-33. So this is that guy who's shelling the north, and this is exactly how you need to be using your artillery positions.
That's not bad at all. Yeah, the 250/9 knocking out like 4 backline units. That's pretty damn good.
Him and that Morris over here, those are the 2 that were on that central hilltop, I believe. But yeah, I mean, that's very much how you play with that Northland Division.
Yeah, very aggressive, great use of the Arado, just jet bomber. I mean, the nice thing about that plane is that's as expensive and you don't get many of them, but it's pretty consistent. And
Absolutely.
you don't lose it unless
You misuse
something
it.
bad happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, you lose it if you misuse it. Exactly, Mr. Khan.
But on the opposite side, there is that 175 Siedlce that did very, very well.
Yep.
4 kills, with a flamethrower as well, which, I mean, we're only kind of demi including here. But well done nonetheless.
Indeed. Game 1, yeah, for Nilla out of his best of 5.
Exactly. So, guys, we have a potential number of 5 coming on through here. Next one's coming up over here on Thursday. Until then, I'm Conolric.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.